W7 Live, welcome to the 2022 Softball Schedule Reveal Show presented by Jolly Good Soda. We're going to get started in just a minute. Here's a quick message from Jolly Good. You're watching the 2022 W7 Softball Schedule Reveal Show.
Jolly Good Soda. We put the pop in Wisconsin.
W7 back live. With us remotely, the one, the only, Ed Rowie. Coach, welcome to 2022 softball on W7. Let's see, I'm missing Coach Rowie here. And there he goes. We're off to a fantastic start, let me tell you guys. Well, we will work on getting Coach back. Meanwhile, let's talk about 2022. First of all, it feels like it's been like months since we've talked, right? I mean, really, the basketball season just ended a few weeks ago, and we're now transitioning into softball. You'll see I'm very casual tonight. I got my backwards hat tonight for softball. I'm ready to catch all your questions and really talk about the softball schedule. Before we get into that, I want to have a quick conversation about the homeschool contest. Let me see if I got Ed back on the line here. Coach, you with me? I got no audio from you. I got video, but no audio. All right, well, we'll come back. So getting into the softball schedule, before we do that, I want to just talk about a couple quick things. First of all, the homeschool contest. And I know we've really hit this hard this year, but we really need to. I mean, this is really our only fundraiser that we do every year. I mean, this is it. We do one fundraiser. I hate fundraising. I mean, if you know me, you know that. I hate it. It's just, I'd rather just spend all my time on the kids and on doing games and just get content for them. This is just something I loathe doing. But unfortunately, for us to be able to do what we do, we got to do this at least once a year. So here's my promise to you. Stick with us the next 4 days. It's going to be a busy 4 days. And then after Thursday, starting Friday, you will not hear a word about fundraising for quite a while from me. Ed, are you back with us?
I hope so.
There he is. There he
yes?
is.
All
yep,
right.
We got you. All right. The technology still works. Let me.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha. Let me get you on here. We're going to go split screen. You guys, I'm telling you what, we got it all. We got all the tech here. Here we go. All right.
We should preface this. We did not plan any of our attire that we'd both be in white with black hats. We did not discuss this. Blind luck.
I went backwards for the catcher look. You know, I love my catchers, Benny Bonda and the kid up west. I mean, we got a lot of great catchers. And then, of course, Taylor Wilson. Is that right, at Germantown? I think Taylor Wilson is the catcher over there.
Yeah.
So shout out to all my catchers. Casey Navarro from Kettle Moraine, a freshman. I'll tell you what, Coach. Here's why I get excited about softball. I know you do too. Really about all of our sports. It's the buildup the kids have leading into the season. I mean, Casey Navarro posted today, she's been waiting since she was 9 years old to play high school varsity softball. She's a freshman, class of 2025. She is so excited to get the season underway. And I saw Skylar Brill also. Did you see Skylar's post today? Skylar has been practicing outside all day, getting ready for some really cold weather softball. This is the best time of year, isn't it, Coach?
It is very anticipated. I don't know about best time of year. We could use about 20 to 30 degrees warmer.
Yeah, true that.
Sitting out there, you know what that's like. These hitters, their hands, they get the bees in their hands when they make contact. They get jammed. And it is tough to watch sometimes because those girls are freezing, plain out freezing because we're freezing.
Yeah.
But no, it's great. The anticipation, you're exactly right. The anticipation is the best part about all this.
And before we get into the schedule and really kind of get into the meat of our broadcast, and I want to again talk about the homeschool contest. I think most of you who are on probably know about it, but let me just give a quick refresh for anybody that's new tonight that's joining us. So we do one fundraiser a year, and this is it, and it runs until March 31st at 11:59 p.m. And it's a reason that it runs that way. And I'm going to explain that for you guys before we get into this. So when you make a donation or buy a service or come to a sponsorship with W7, we give you the option of designating your school of choice that those funds apply to. So when you make that donation, you say, hey, I want the funds applied to Germantown or applied to Random Lake or applied to Mishicot, whoever it is. And then we apply those funds there. And then from April 1st, so starting April 1st of 2021 through March 31st of 2022, at 11:59, we're going to add all those dollars up, and then out of that, there'll be a school that places highest above everybody else. The school that raises the most and that designates the most is going to be our homeschool for the next year. And what that means is we're going to live stream more games in any sport, in every sport that we do with your school more than anybody else by far. And if you don't believe me, ask Germantown, ask Slinger, ask Brookfield Central. They can all vouch for this. So that's going to run until Thursday. Now, this year for Germantown, we did 28 basketball games. We're going to do at least a dozen softball games. We did almost every volleyball match, and we also did 2 or 3 golf meets. So we do a lot. We do 250 live streams a year. So a lot of it has been with Germantown because they're our homeschool. In fact, back-to-back homeschool champs. This year, we're in the last week of the campaign right now, and what that means is, so from now until Thursday night, you can still participate and get your school as the W7 homeschool, and we're going to give daily standings every day from starting tonight. Actually, it started last Thursday until this coming Thursday. Thursday is the last day of the contest, and starting at noon on Thursday, hourly updates all the way until 11 o'clock that night, and commencing with an 8 p.m. live show, 8 to 11, Thursday night, March 31st. Coach Rowell, you're coming over to Studio W7, right, for that?
Wouldn't miss it.
So Coach Rowell will be here. I'll be here. Connor will be either on here with us or on by video. So we've got, it'll be a big show. We're also going to reveal our One Shining Moment video from basketball. Coach, you saw that. Give me your take on the One Shining Moment video.
I did. It's hard to top last year's, but each year they're so good. They're so good. They hit the nail every year, and a lot of memories come back really fast.
It's going to be a great time. We're going to air that at least 3 or 4 times during our live show. So make sure you join in for that. We're going to keep you updated on standings. We're going to go until 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we're going to give you our very last update of the contest, and then we're going to go dark. We'll be done until 11:59. At 11:59, Coach Rowie and I will be here calculating the numbers, and then we'll know at exactly midnight, who our homeschool is for the next year. We're going to hold that information until 7 o'clock on Friday morning, and at 7 o'clock Friday morning, yours truly will be at the W7 homeschool to announce that they are the winners. And we're hoping to get a group of female athletes with us to do that. So look for that on Friday. So with all that said, here are the current standings for the homeschool contest. These are up to the minute numbers, including some today that came in. So Random Lake in the lead with 11,400. Germantown second, 8778. Waukesha North is third at 4,500. De Pere at 3,000 and Mishicot at 2,875. That's your top 5. Right now, it's looking like a 2-school race, but I wouldn't say it's going to be limited to that. Coach, we always have what we call the 11th hour surprise. Do you want to talk about that and what that is?
Well, I think you go back last year, and we went dark at 11 o'clock, and all of a sudden, you were getting updates, and we were just sitting there talking, waiting, really talking about everything but the homeschool at the time, because it's 11 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden, your face changed, your whole demeanor changed. And then it happened again, and then it happened again. It was amazing to watch just your reactions as it truly happened that way. And this year maybe we have to have a camera up to keep our reactions, because it was a sight just to watch you. We should have had a camera on you the whole time, because it was pretty amazing to watch, and it is truly humbling. I think we talked about that before we left the last year after the show. It is extremely humbling how people. They believe in what we're doing and the mission that we are on to bring girls sports to you, back to you. And the support we receive is second to none. And again, to watch your face last year, and if we have that, it's going to be tough to top last year, like I said a minute ago, but it was incredible to watch. And it was truly shocking to watch it and how it changed hands. I think 3 times in the last 20 minutes, something along those lines, if I remember correctly.
Yep, that's right.
And we didn't anticipate that. And
No.
It was incredible to watch.
And I will tell you, so I've gotten a lot of inquiries from different individuals. I'm not going to mention anybody, but a lot of inquiries saying, hey, can you just give me a number of what it would take just to kind of make this thing happen and just for this, just for you to call it good and our school wins? And I can. What I'll tell you is I don't know. I really have no idea what that number is going to be. And if I knew, believe me, I'd work on telling you, but I don't know. In fact, last year, nobody told the donors that came in the last hour didn't tell me. I had no idea they were coming in. So it's a very closely guarded secret by our donors. Even they don't let it slip until they actually make that donation. Now, the good news is you don't have to wait until 11:58 to make that donation. Starting at 11 o'clock, you can do it in full confidence that nobody's going to know what it is except for Ed and I until the next day. So you could do it at 11:05 and go to bed and then wait for the announcement at 7 o'clock. I will also say that in the 4 years, this is the 5th year of the homeschool contest, and I say it every year because it's true every year, I've never seen interest higher than I have this year from a number of schools that are looking to participate. What I'm going to do on Wednesday is I'm going to reach out to the top 3 athletic directors and let them know, hey, there's a chance we're coming in Friday morning. We'll be coming in hot Friday morning at 7 o'clock. Don't know who it's going to be yet. I will be. Yeah, I will be. It'll be working. So there's a chance I'm coming in hot to your school on Friday morning. We're going to let you know, let the athletic directors know that. If you are considering making a donation to actually try to win the homeschool contest and you're not in the top 3 Wednesday, consider dropping me a note, sending me an email, whatever, just to give me a heads up, because if your school is in the running, I want to at least contact your athletic director and let them know. I hate giving ADs surprises, coming into their school and they don't know about it. So believe me, it'll stay in confidence. I've had a number of people reach out and ask questions, ask if I would come and talk to some friends of theirs, talk to different businesses. Absolutely, we will do that. It's fair pool all the way through. So from now until Thursday, if you want to get on a call, if you want to call me and just say, hey, can we just talk about what this is and really what we can possibly do to win this? I've had a number of calls last week just on, hey, just educate me on this process. So with all that said, that is the homeschool contest. I think I've kind of beat that to death, and I'll leave it there. But we are super excited. Our 2022 softball season is presented by Jolly Good Soda, and Coach, I just cannot say enough good things about Jolly Good Soda. I mean, they have gone above and beyond, just way above and beyond what our expectations were this year for supporting us. I mean, isn't it just amazing?
Well, getting a chance to meet them and see how involved they are, it's been quite a process getting them to become part of our family. And it's, again, humbling. And how upbeat and excited they are to be a part of us is, I think, the best part about it all.
Yeah, I would agree. And a big thanks to Nicole Depius and the Jolly Good family. They have actually signed on now to be our 2022-23 executive sponsor. What that means is all of our broadcasts in every sport will be powered by Jolly Good Soda. So do me a favor, if you haven't already, go to our Instagram page tonight and cast your vote. In fact, I'm going to take a quick look and see. We're doing a Elite 8 amongst the Jolly Good Soda flavors. Right now, tonight, it's the number 4 seed versus the number 5 seed. Coach, I'm a root beer fan. It's a root beer coming in as root beer. Root beer coming in as the number 5, looking for the upset on orange. Orange is the number 4. Let me take a look and get the very latest on where we're at here on the poll. Okay. Let me just make sure this is accurate, and I'll tell you all where we're at. But each night for the next 4 nights or next 7 nights, we'll have a game every day that you can vote on who your favorite flavor is, and somebody's going to win the Elite 8. So the number 5 seed root beer, 64%, And the number 4 seed, Orange, 36%. So a big upset. Well, maybe not a big upset, but an upset nonetheless, as Root Beer coming in as the number 5, looking to knock off number 4, Orange. Tomorrow is the number 1, Cream Soda, taking on number 8, Fruit Punch. I think Fruit Punch is in big trouble tomorrow, Coach.
Cream is the cream of the crop. It is good stuff.
So that's tomorrow night, and we're going to do it all the way through.
By the way, did Nicole reach out to you?
I actually, I saw Nicole put a post up yesterday saying this is the real Elite 8, and I said, hey, we want to do an Elite 8 tournament.
Okay.
Give me, in order of sales 1 through 8. She responded back in about 7 minutes. Here they are. Cream Soda is number 1. In fact, let me just pull this up for you guys because they're so funny. I mean, they're so responsive and they just love what we do. She was all over that. So Cream Soda is number 1. Number 2 is Cherry. So Cherry, that kind of surprises me. I mean, I like Cherry,
nope.
Definitely, but I was kind of surprised to see that they got the number 2 seed.
So good.
Grape is number 3. Now, if you know the Whiz Kid's going to tell you right out of the gate that Grape is number 1. So Emily Wisner from Germantown, I mean, if she was involved in the voting, Grape would be the number 1 seed. Orange, we talked about the number 4. Root Beer is the number 5. Sour Power, I think you got to be careful with Sour Power. It's number 6 seed, but I think they have the potential to pull a big upset because Sour Power is going to be a favorite amongst those over 21, I think.
True.
So watch out for Sour Power. It's used with a lot of adult beverages. So they're coming in as the number 6. I would not be surprised to see them upset number 3, Grape. And then number 7 is the new kid in town. That's Blue Raspberry. Blue Raspberry coming in as the number 7, but I got to tell you, I got faith in Blue Raspberry. It's new. I mean, it's new, and they've got a big challenge taking on Cherry. But you know what? We've seen Blue Raspberry gain a lot of momentum this season from the kids.
The kids really liked it. Yeah, it got to the point where they were asking for it.
And then, of course, number 1, Cream Soda, taking on number 8, Fruit Punch. Sorry, Fruit Punch, you have no shot at this. I mean, I love it. I love Fruit Punch, but Cream Soda is the number 1 seed for a reason, and they're going to show that tomorrow on W7. Okay, so that's our Jolly Good Elite 8. It's only on our Instagram story. So go to our Instagram story and vote for your favorite beverage every day, once a day, and then next Monday we'll crown the Jolly Good Soda Elite 8 champion. Will it be Cream Soda or will it be one of the upstarts coming in? I'm pulling for Root Beer, but it's number 5 seed, that's going to be tough. We'll see. All right. All that said, let's get into the actual schedule. Coach, it seems like it's been 15 years since we've had a softball schedule, a softball season, but I mean, it really hasn't. We had a full season last year. It was kind of truncated just because it started late and ended late. It was kind of weird with the dates and the timing. And of course we had the, COVID protocols we had to follow, but this year it's kind of like, it's all back to normal again.
Yeah, last year was a little it was off for everybody, but getting that full season in and later allowed for less games to be canceled with the weather. And we were already seeing how the weather's going to affect this week and beyond. But that late start last year, that was the one benefit, was getting your games in because the weather didn't play as much of a factor. Having said that, these kids know what they're up against. They know what it's like in March and April. They're going to have that day where it's 70. They're going to get that tease, and the next day it's going to be 35 degrees, and they're going to be freezing again. But we're going to be there for it.
Well, and speaking of weather, I mean, so our season opener, might as well just unveil that now while I'm here. Let me see. Let me get to that. I've got that on here somewhere. Okay. Well, our season opener is Germantown on Tuesday hosting Brookfield Central. So the projected forecast, Coach, 38 degrees.
If you go to the Germantown page, you'll see that listing. Otherwise, I don't think there is anything else. But then you're going to reveal all the Germantown stuff. So we don't want to do that quite yet. But yes, right. Tuesday they're calling for 38 with snow in the evening. And that is supposed to carry in to the evening hours, like I said, but then warm up nicely for Wednesday. So we'll see how maybe it all changes. Who knows?
And here's really good news for our viewers, especially if you're going to these games. you don't have to rely on Ed and I for an accurate forecast. Brian Nims will be giving us, or I'm sorry, Brian Goddard will be giving us
Goddard, yeah.
will be giving us the first pitch forecast every day from wherever we are. He'll give that morning. He'll give the forecast for where we're playing. So big thanks to Brian. His daughter plays for Cedarburg, and Brian graciously agreed to be part of the W7 team this year with softball giving us that forecast. So looking forward to that. Keep an eye out for that starting on Tuesday as we get ready to go to Germantown. Now, I am asking in advance who's bringing the cocoa Tuesday afternoon for that Germantown game, because that's going to be cold, man. And I'm worried about my jolly good sign. If we have 65-mile-an-hour winds trying to put that sign up, the backdrop up, that worries me tremendously.
That might have to be on the. Well, we got to anchor it down because that's going to block the wind for us. So
that's a very good point. It'll also block the view for any fans that try to stand behind us and watch, which again is not necessarily a bad thing. Sorry, guys.
To not view us, yeah, you're okay if you're not seeing us. We'll have to come up with a plan there, but if it's on, we're there.
Yeah, so that's this Tuesday, and in fact, let's get into talk about Germantown here. There are homeschools, everybody knows, no secret there. Let me tell you what our plans are for Germantown this year, because it is significant. Where is my Germantown page? Wait, who built this slide deck?
It's toward the bottom.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Okay. Wow.
Anything I can do to help?
Who's running this? Who's running this circus? Okay, so Germantown. Here we go. Germantown, you are on the W7 schedule 3, 5, 7, 9 times, but 2 of those are 2 games because they're part of a tournament. So we're going to start Tuesday against Brookfield Central, and then they play DSHA at DSHA Thursday. We will not be there for that. I will just leave it at that. Friday, they play at home against Sussex Hamilton. Coach Sussex Hamilton coming back. Jay Kloss is gone. It's going to be kind of a different look with that team, but Fraffiard is back, and the whole crew. So Slots is back. I mean, Slats is back. I should say Kylie Slats. I mean, they're gonna be tough.
Yeah, a year ago they got to state riding the back of Jay's, but it's a new season. I think they're gonna overlook Sussex, thinking, okay, they won't be that same team. I wouldn't do that if I were them.
I would not.
They're going to be good. They are going to be a fun team to watch again. They're going to come out swinging. But, Friday should be fun to watch.
Now, I've also got to just mention about Germantown. So a coaching change this year, and I need your opinion on this, because I think – if your name is so the coach is James Medina, I think we pretty much got to play Funky Cold Medina like all the time. I mean, is that fair to do that?
Fair or not, you're the DJ. You're the mix master. Look at your hats backward already.
So for those of you at least 45 and over, probably maybe 40, we'll say 40 and over, you'll recall Tone Loc, Funky Cold Medina. We're going to be playing that a lot this year for Coach Medina. And I got to tell you, Coach, I reached out to him already this past week, and I got a response in like 19 seconds. So, I mean, he's jacked up and ready to go. The Warhawks are ready to go. Here's their schedule. We're going to travel with them on Saturday down to Kenosha Bradford as they go in a triangular with Bradford and I don't remember who the other team is. I don't have it in front of me. But also then at Menominee Falls, always a good game with the Falls. I mean, the Falls are going to be the Falls. I mean, it's Lou. Coach Lou is going to bring his people.
Right. I found it very interesting that they posted, teams to watch this year in softball, and not mentioned was Menominee Falls. Now, go back a year ago, they were ranked number 10 in the area as the season started. DS was in the top 5 in the season, and the team that won the conference wasn't even mentioned. So got to be careful with that. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that right now, Menominee Falls is going to be 1 or 2 in that conference. You can count on that. Well,
for them not to be on the list, Coach Santacola absolutely loves that. I mean, he's Mr. Fly under the radar. Don't publicize me. Let us. They always have kind of a weird start, but they just gain such momentum as the season goes along, and I think that's because they try a lot of different things throughout the season, and then once they kind of find their rhythm as we get to midseason, they grow on that, and by the postseason, I mean, they're ready. It's a different team from what started the year.
Yeah, all the players get their experience, and Coach Lou's got a plan, and they don't change from their plan. They stay the course, and by the end, they are ready to go for tournament play.
Okay, moving on. So we talked about uh, Germantown. We've got, again, several games with Germantown. We'll have all this posted on our calendar in the coming days. The Indian Trail Triangular, that's on the that's actually the 9th, I believe. Germantown, Indian Trail, and Sussex Hamilton. So this
that is the second. You are correct. That is the second.
That's the second. Oh, the Bradford one's the 9th, right? Okay, so I got them backwards. Yep. Okay, so we're actually at Indian Trail this coming Saturday, as Germantown, Indian Trail, and Sussex Hamilton square off. So we'll get to see a lot of Hamilton. We'll see, obviously, a lot of Germantown. So 4 of Germantown's first 5 games, you're on W7. I mean, got to be loving that.
Well, before we even move on and talk about the other schools, I think we have to talk about the player I think you and I are both most excited to watch on the Germantown squad.
Yes.
And that is our W7 intern, Sarah Nassif. We're not moving on without mentioning Sarah.
No.
We've mentioned a few different players thus far, and there are players on Germantown who are probably looking at the episode going, well, what's he talking about? Well, for the amount of time, effort, and energy that Sarah brought to our volleyball and basketball seasons, we are excited to watch her get on the field and do her thing. And she won't have to worry about holding a microphone during any of it. She won't have to worry about producing any of it. She gets to go out and be Sarah and hopefully have herself a great season.
Well, you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, we are so excited for Sarah and to help support her season this year as well. I mean, she's been such a huge advocate for us and for Germantown, of course, but not just Germantown, and really, again, for all girls athletics. And so a chance to kind of showcase her and her talent this year. I know she's been working super hard to get ready for the season, and she'll be ready to go. So looking forward to seeing her. And yes, Sarah, we won't make you hold any cameras, no microphones, won't have you charge up phones, all that other stuff.
Well, she might have to wear a portable microphone.
She may have to wear a mic.
And that's always possible.
Yes. That is definitely a possibility. So yeah, Sarah Nassif, our W7 intern, she'll be front and center this week on W7 as we kick off the season. Moving forward, let's get into some more of the schedule. We're going to be at Kenosha Bradford. So, Coach, interestingly enough, never done a game at Kenosha, and now 2 weekends in a row we'll be there. This coming weekend, or next week, I should say, for Indian Trail, and then the following week for Kenosha Bradford. Arrowhead, Bradford, and Falls. That's a pretty good tournament.
Absolutely. Those are 3 quality programs that year in and year out, they come to the post, and you can count on them for between 16 and 20 wins almost yearly. And to get them this early should be a nice treat for everybody.
Okay, Watertown, your turn. I know Drew Heinrichs is watching. I know AJ Johnson is watching. So let's get this one on. April 23rd, that's the next weekend, the Watertown Quad. Chippewa Falls, Kettle Moraine, Kimberly, and Watertown. I mean, that's quite an eclectic group there, those 4.
Yeah, that's is that a first time for Chippewa Falls for us?
Yes, first time ever for Chippewa Falls.
That's what I thought. That's always great. Welcome to the family. Again, and you're hoping obviously for great weather for these, especially for these games early, these non-conference games where these teams get a chance to play quality opponents so early in the season. And you just hope the weather's, and you're not asking for, it'd be nice to get 70s, but a 50-degree day, you'll be fine with. And hopefully these teams get that, because when you get this type of tournament, these quads and these triangulars so early in the season, the energy these teams bring, playing a different opponent other than somebody you're beating up in your conference, it's fun.
So that'll be a fun one. That's April 23rd. And I do have to mention a couple things, right? So first of all of these games are subject to change because of 2 factors. One is, of course, weather. I mean, that's going to come into play. How is it going to affect us? I don't know yet, obviously, until we kind of get into things. But We will put updates on our website if our broadcast gets canceled or whatever. We do have a couple of backup locations, so we're looking at teams that have a artificial surface. Certainly, Wauwatosa East and Oak Creek are the two that come to mind. And I'm going to actually reach out to Michelle Guy and Holloway at Tosa East, as well as Scott Holler at Oak Creek, and to say, hey, if we get a game that's canceled, can I get to you on short notice, and we'll come down and do one of those games if they're playing at the same time, because the weather won't be as much of a factor with the artificial surface. So that's one thing. The other, what you'll also notice this year is probably less games during the week and a lot more on weekends. And the reason for that is my real job, so to speak. Have had some changes in my work responsibilities. So with that, it's a little more difficult to get there for 4:30 games. We've got a few of them on the schedule, but not nearly what we've done in the past, at least for the Milwaukee area. So some changes there, but also we've never done more tournament Saturday games than we are this year. So hopefully that kind of balances things out. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and come back and get more into the softball reveal schedule. And it's presented by the one, the only, you know who, Jolly Good Soda. We'll be right back.
Jolly Good Soda. We put the pop in Wisconsin.
Welcome back to the W7 2022 softball schedule reveal show, live from Studio W7, Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Gary Whipperman and Ed Rowie joining us remotely from Wauwatosa. We've talked about our first couple tournaments. Now back to Germantown again. So on the 30th of April, this is the Germantown invite. This will be our second year doing this. Arrowhead, Brookfield Central, Campbellsport, Greenfield, Germantown, Kettle Moraine, Racine Case, and Westosha Central. Some really interesting matchups there. I know Campbellsport was there last year. I don't recall seeing Greenfield or Case there. Be interested to see Kettle Moraine as well. Should be an interesting tournament. In fact, I talked to Coach Medina and asked him, could we kind of move some things around so that we can get as many teams on the live stream as possible? And he said absolutely, and is kind of reworking some of that schedule so we can get as many teams as possible. Coach, early thoughts on that one?
Well, last year, if you remember, it was a lot of close games, a lot of back and forth, great competition. And that's, if you remember, it was a windy day, but it was dry. And every player, because there were so many games going on throughout the day, just went home head to toe, like they played just underneath the turf and under the surface, because they were just head to toe dirt.
Yeah.
So hopefully that history repeats itself in that regard. Some different teams here, teams that we don't usually customarily see. But again, when you start to open up the weekends like we're doing, we're going to see some different combinations, and really got to like that. I mean, this is the second time we're going to see Arrowhead on a weekend. Same thing with Kettle Moraine. So some will be repeat, but you start to see some others, like you said, with Westosha Central, which is a strong program. Greenfield, they start to creep in, and we get to see some just some different schools, different teams, and get our name, the W7 name, out there for these girls to share with their families and friends.
So that is April 30th. I want to just give you a reminder, we're not going to show this tonight, but One Shining Moment, that is our basketball season highlight video. That's coming up Thursday, so we'll be revealing that on Thursday during our live show as we end the W7 Homeschool contest. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to air it at least 3 or 4 times. It really turned out well. Excited to show you guys what that looks like. So that's coming on Thursday. April 30th, let's get into talking about W7 North, so to speak. I don't see Coach Du Bois on, but we can kind of talk about this a little bit. We've got several games this year. In fact, a large number of games in the Fox Valley, just as we did for basketball and for volleyball, as we kind of expand our reach up into the Fox Valley part of the state. Coach, there's a lot of really good teams in here. Appleton West in this, Fond du Lac in there, Greendale, Looks like Manitowoc Lincoln, of course. Sheboygan North is the host. Mukwonago. Believe it or not, we've never done a game with Mukwonago, which to me just seems crazy since they're so close to us. Port Washington, Waukesha West, and West Bend East. Should be a fun Saturday at Sheboygan North. And in fact, you were at Sheboygan North just the last couple weeks ago.
I was. I wasn't too kind to our Warhawks, our
That's true.
homeschool,
That's
but
true.
nonetheless, having taken a team up to Sheboygan about 5 or 6 years ago, it's all spread out. It's nice. It's a nice area to host a tournament. And you mentioned Port Washington. You got a Cleveland State commit that's playing in Port Washington, so that'll be fun to bring her to the screen in Peyton Miller-Stens.
Nice. Well, and I should mention all of our, if you haven't joined us before, all of our games, of course, are 100% live and 100% free. You can watch them all on YouTube. We never charge anybody to watch them. You can go back and watch replays. So I can tell you right now, our most important audience are usually the ones that are on the field. The minute the game's over, I see them all go on their phones or going back and watching the game. The coaches love it because the kids get to watch film, and the kids love it because they get to hear their names, and we get to tell stories about them, which of course we absolutely love to do. So be sure to check out as many games as you can this year on W7. In fact, I think Connor might be on here. Let me see if I can find him.
Well, you're finding him. I think that's something that we need to talk about, and that is, if you know you're going to be on W7, get us as much of that weird, quirky information. Give us backstories. Who's in charge of your music? What's the team meal like? Things things we can share with everybody. That becomes a bigger and bigger part of what we do during our broadcasts, and
Yes.
it's stuff we like to share. And, we get to learn about the players and the kids too.
So yeah, please do that.
So get
In fact,
that out there.
Yeah, there's a forum on our website. If you just go to productionsw7.com, you'll find it right there, link to it right from the homepage at your event. And it's just a spreadsheet or a PDF of here's a bunch of questions. We'd really love to get fun facts about the kids. When I say fun facts, I mean, I'm not talking about, this person was all conference honorable mention, 2 years ago.
No.
I'm more interested in, what's their favorite breakfast food? What are they habitually known for? I mean, so like one kid, she had to call everybody before games to make sure everybody showed up on time because she was like the alarm clock. She was kind of the team mom for the rest of the team. So those kind of things are fun to hear. We talk about what's your greatest fear. Sometimes it's spiders. Sometimes it's coach yelling at me. Sometimes it depends on who the kid is. So we really try to dig into that stuff and be sure to participate that way because we love talking about your kids, and the best way to do that is to know something about them. I mean, of course, we're going to talk about the game, but we want to get deeper than just the game because I think you guys know this. I mean, we're really more about relationships with the kids than we are about hardcore stats and analysis and things like that. That's just not really what we do. I mean, we do it, but we're more into just promoting the kids. April 7th or May 7th. Cedarburg, look who that is on the left there. That is University of Wisconsin commit Peyton Monticelli. Peyton's going to be joining us this August when we do the Showtime Sports Showcase. Peyton's going to be one of our analysts for the entire event. She's going to be there. She's a Wisconsin commit. She's a senior this year, so she'll be at the Showtime Sports Showcase. We'll have a headset on her. She'll be probably with Connor most of the time, just talking about what she's seeing on the field, talking about players that she knows. So 2 days with Peyton on the broadcast. That should be a lot of fun. We did that last year with Jasmine House from DSHA. So Peyton takes that spot this year. But meanwhile, in May, this tournament, this is a premier event. I mean, if you look at the roster of teams here, so let me go through this. Beaver Dam, Burlington, Cedarburg, Kettle Moraine Lutheran, Marshfield, Muskego, Oconomowoc, and Sussex Hamilton. 4 out of the 8, four state-bound teams from last year all playing in this event. I mean, Coach, this is a blue chip event to say the least.
Absolutely. When you I thought you were going to go on about this summer showcase, and then you went right into this, and it's like a perfect segue because, the Saturday in August, those 2 days, that weekend, when you prevent the showcase, that is star-studded players throughout, and that's what this one's going to be with these 8 teams, each team carrying a couple of players that can really get to showcase their skills.
Yeah, so we'll see. Teams that we'll see for the first time on W7, Burlington will be our first time with them. Kettle Moraine Lutheran, first time with them. Marshfield, first time with them. Muskego, we've done. Oconomowoc, first time with them. So believe it or not, it'll be our first ever game with Oconomowoc, even though I actually live in Oconomowoc. So that is May 7th. That's a Saturday all-day event. I know I've been in touch with Coach Jessup already. I've talked to Peyton a little bit. I mean, they're super excited, and they're just great supporters of W7. Cedarburg softball is. So we're super excited to get up and showcase that tournament. A new one to our roster is the St. Mary Springs Triangular on May 14th. And you may start by saying, St. Mary who? So St. Mary Springs Catholic School in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. We did a basketball game there actually at Oshkosh Lords in February, and I had a couple of the parents from St. Mary Springs reach out and say, we absolutely loved the basketball coverage. Is there any way you'd consider doing something for softball? And of course, when the kids ask or when the parents ask, it's hard to say no. So, of course, we didn't say no. And we're excited to go up to, this is going to be at St. Mary Springs on the 14th. Pacelli, St. Mary Springs, and Horicon. Horicon, by the way, pretty darn good softball team.
Really good softball team, yeah.
Great program. So that is May 14th. We'll be at St. Mary Springs. Looking forward to that coming up middle of May. And then the next week is the Westosha Central Triangular. This is Menominee Falls, Westosha Central, and Kaukauna. By the way, Kaukauna has a pretty good pitcher up there.
Again, I know we touched on it earlier, but these weekend triangulars and these quads, you get the unusual matchups, great quality players. And I know we've touched on some of the players, case in point being Peyton, going to play in Madison. But as we've done so many games over the years, regardless of the sport, it always seems to come down to that role player, quote unquote, coming through big.
You're right.
And that's what makes these games. And now you're knocking on the door of the end of the season and getting ready for tournament play. And that's what makes these so great. And it's that role player that has a big moment and that carries into the playoffs. And hopefully that player's playing with that extra confidence, knowing they've come through already. And when you start putting these games together, especially this close to the end of the season, that's when those players get that opportunity to shine.
And last year at the Cedarburg tournament, we saw that. I mean, obviously the hype was around Peyton Monticelli, as it should be, but Cassidy Gall came in, had a really nice tournament, both on the circle as well as at the plate, and really was a big part of Cedarburg's wins for those two games. So again, you love those kids that kind of step up when they get a chance and come through. And Cassidy definitely did that. So looking forward to seeing her as well. This coming May. So that's the Westosha Central Triangular. It's going to be weird, Coach. I mean, I've been doing this 5 years. I've never done a Menominee Falls game without a Stigler playing. That's going to be odd.
That is going to be very strange. It doesn't seem right, but with time, everybody gets older and moves on. You haven't, of course, but the rest of us do.
Right.
And now it will be strange, but what great support. Welcome to the family, of course.
Yes.
But the support they showed for those 5 years has been wonderful, and still show. Yeah,
they're still very much a part of W7. I text with Katie once in a while, and she's out at the Naval Academy now doing great things, and just a tremendous future for her. So looking forward to bringing her some Menominee Falls softball when she's out at school. Hopefully she'll be able to tune in and take advantage of some of that, or when she's back, maybe she can come and join us at least for part of a game on a headset as well. We talked about the Germantown schedule. It's primarily Greater Metro Conference teams, of course, Menominee Falls. At Hartford, Coach, I loved going to Hartford last year. We did that Slinger at Hartford game. We were lined up right behind home plate. That was a lot of fun, and looking forward to going out to Hartford again this year.
We were coming in hot, and yet you would have thought we were there hours because they had everything ready for us.
They did.
And, I think we went live at the first pitch, and it couldn't have been timed any better. And, of course, Mother Nature stepped in and started raining, but not enough to stop us. We stayed right there, and it turned out to be a fantastic game. Great back and forth, and I agree. It's a great setup for us.
Well, and speaking of that, I mean, that's kind of leads us into. Let me bring this up here. I'm going to come back to this one. So kind of the rest of the schedule, those are the tournament events. April 8th, Slinger at Watertown. I got to tell you, I'm really, really, really jacked about this one. So we'll get to see the odd couple, Maggie Plummer and Juju Moker from Slinger, and we'll get to see Drew Heinrichs and AJ Johnson from Watertown and the crew. I'll tell you what, Coach, when we did that Watertown Holiday Tournament, I think you were there when this happened. At the end of the event, I got stormed by the Watertown softball girls that came over. Do you remember that?
I do.
And they were very insistent that we come into a softball game, and AJ has reminded me a couple times this year. Drew's reminded me a couple times this year. We are absolutely coming, looking forward to it. That should be a lot of fun.
Think about that. That was December 28th, and they couldn't wait then. So what's it like now?
Right. April 25th, Waukesha West at Waukesha North. Coach Meyer from Waukesha North has been like stalking me, like, hey, making sure that the North is going to be on our schedule this year. Coach, we're coming. April 25th when you guys take on West. Looking forward to seeing the girls and you as you take over the lead spot in that role. Your predecessor, of course, Sean Grimm, now at Wauwatosa East. We have several games with Wauwatosa East, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One is it's close to Coach Rowie, which I know he's got school and teaching, but I really want to get him as part of our broadcast as many games as we can. So that's an easier trip for him. But also the artificial surface is another reason. But the third reason, probably the biggest reason, is they start their games at 7 o'clock. So with that, it's much easier for me to get there and make sure that we can do a full broadcast. So Tosa East, you got heavy on the schedule this year for those reasons. West Dallas Hale coming in, Tosa West coming in, New Berlin West coming in hot on Tosa East. Coach, that's of all the games that we've done, I would say that one, that when you were coach at Tosa East, that one was an absolute classic. New Berlin West coming in, riding high, and the Red Raiders took them down.
Yeah, it was a great memory for what is now that senior class at Tosa East.
That's crazy.
Definitely a high point for that team that year. No doubt about it.
And we're excited to see New Berlin West. That's on May 17th. May 19th, McWanago at Kettle Moraine. It'll be our second trip to KM. We were there a couple years ago, but able to make a visit. Of course, Coach Tomczyk, the athletic director at KM, so gracious and letting us come in and do our stuff there. And then West Bend West at Tosa East. We talked about that one. I want to skip back up. In the middle of the page, you'll see kind of a weird one on here. This is May 9th. Madison Edgewood at Reedsburg. So most of our games obviously are in the Milwaukee area for us. We're going to get to the North schedule in just a second, but going to Reedsburg for a couple of reasons. One is if you followed us during basketball season, you know the relationship we had with Reedsburg girls basketball. We were very close with them, and I had a couple parents reach out and say, hey, would you consider coming out to Reedsburg and doing a game with us? A couple of the girls are playing from that team, and would love to see you guys. So we're going to come out for that. In fact, as it worked out, it's actually going to be senior night when we're there at Reedsburg on May 9th. Madison Edgewood at Reedsburg, our first ever softball game with both of those schools. So looking forward to that. That's coming up on May 9th. Let me skip back here, and I don't see him on here, so we're going to have to cover his games here for him. But W7 North, a big schedule this year in the North. Kakana at Hortonville. Coach Hines taking over at Hortonville. That's going to be actually less than a couple of weeks away. West De Pere at De Pere. Hortonville, Mishicot. I think Mishicot's doing an alumni game after that. That's a Saturday game. And then on down the line, but a lot of really great teams in this. Hortonville, of course, Coach. Just like basketball, they are going to be tough to beat this year.
Yes, a very strong senior-laden team that's ready to go, as we've talked about. But it's a group that Connor knows very, very well and will know the ins and outs so much better than either one of us combined. And it's a team that's going to make some noise.
You can see the rest of the schedule. And again, all of this will be posted on our website. Also, May 6th, we're going to Randolph to see the state champion girls basketball Randolph Rockets. Brianna Baird and Presley Buwalda from Randolph girls basketball on that Randolph team. So we're going to go see them on May 6th. I was trying to get Jory on the broadcast with us, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I'm going to see if I can get Maya Moldenhauer to join me as part of that. We're going to rope somebody in from Randolph girls basketball to be on the broadcast. That's going to be a condition for me coming. I've told them that. I said, if you're going to make me do it alone, I'm not coming. So you got to get me somebody to do the game with me. So maybe Maya will come out, or Jaden maybe will come and do the game with me. Maybe we'll see how that works out. The rest of the schedule: Green Bay Preble at Cedarburg, Ashley Wolf at Preble, one of the premier players in the state, coming to W7 again this year against Cedarburg. That should be a fun game.
That's a great matchup. Nothing else has to be said about that. That's two of your premier teams and players in the state.
We talked about West De Pere already tweeted on Twitter that we're excited to see you on April 8th. I mean, they are Coach Tim and the Phantoms. They are ready to go. We saw them last year at the Ashwaubenon tournament, and we were like mobbed by them. Like, hey, you got to come and do a game with us next year. So I made sure and wrote it down in pen, not pencil, and said we're coming to do a game with them. We're going to do two of them: April 8th against De Pere, and then April 14th against New London. So you get us twice, West De Pere. Looking forward to seeing the Phantoms in that one. And then we talked about Green Bay Preble. We'll also see them with Ashwaubenon. That's a rematch from last year. We did that one at Ashwaubenon last year. So back up at Ashwaubenon with the Jaguars again this year as they take on a really, really tough Preble team. Preble spent most of the year last year as the number one team in the state. I would expect much the same this year. So Connor Du Bois will be leading most of these games, if not all. And again, I would say, this schedule, it's not as firm as basketball just because of the weather and just because of things that go on in the spring and 4:30 games. So you got to be patient with us. We're going to do our very best to honor the schedule, but expect there's going to be some changes. So we'll let you know as those occur, but a very robust schedule in the North this year. Right, Coach?
It's always good to get more and more matchups on W7, as you said, and to get that whole North, as you're calling it, involved should be a lot of fun for everybody.
Well, we're going to close out our show. We can't close it out without talking about, let's see if I can get this up here. As if I didn't mention this, somebody I know is going to go berserk on me. Franklin Oak Creek. The rivalry, it's on W7 this year. We'll get two, we're going to do both games between Franklin and Oak Creek. Coach, I mean, you got some really good softball down in the Southeast Conference with those two hook up, and we're going to see them April 12th and May 12th. One at Franklin, one at Oak Creek. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, those are two. I mean, Oak Creek, we got a chance to see them a couple times last year, and wow. We saw some individual play that was impressive, and then but it came down to the role players, as we talked about. And Franklin, they're no slouch themselves. It is an absolute battle in those games. Every pitch is important in that game.
That is going to be so much fun. We'll see. Oak Creek is a pretty good pitcher down there, if I remember right. I think
they've got two of them.
They do have two of them. One is highly touted. One is what I call the most underrated pitcher in the state, and that's Haley Griffith from Oak Creek. Yep. And, of course, the other being Riley Gredzalonic. We'll get to see Rye. We were hoping to see her in basketball season this year. She was going to do a broadcast with us. It just never worked out. She's been so busy with softball getting ready for this season. Coach, you got to share your Riley story from softball last year, if you recall it, when we did the Oak Creek game.
Well, we've touched on the weather so often. The weather played a huge part of this. It was an overcast, cold day, and this was a pitching matchup. No score for how long, and Riley hit a ball that was probably 300 feet, but foul. It was the most impressive foul ball I've ever seen in softball. It was you could hear the murmur in the crowd. It was so impressive.
That was against Union Grove. They ended up losing that game 1-0, but I don't know if that ball has landed yet. That Riley that day, it had a very distinct sound on it. I will say that when she made contact. So, Rye, looking forward to seeing you. Of course, we're looking forward to seeing Coach Reck and the Sabres. Franklin's always been a very special program to us. They were one of the very first to kind of take us in when we first started, and so a very special relationship with them. Looking forward to doing 2 games with the Sabres this year, one at home against Oak Creek and one on the road against Oak Creek. That is our schedule for 2022 softball. Let me close with a couple comments. First of all, I will say, we really spent a lot of time trying to put this schedule together and try to kind of make it as robust as we possibly can. If you did not see your school on here, all is not lost. If we overlook somebody, the one I'm thinking about right away off the bat, Coach, is Nicolay. We got to work Nicolay in there somewhere. Otherwise, Ezzy Maurerman's going to lose it. So we're going to figure out how to get Nicolay added. We don't have him on here now, but Izzy, we got you. We'll be doing a game. We'll figure it out when. And of course,
we got to
see
go
Coach
see the
Terrence.
coaches.
Yeah, Coach.
Yeah, we got to go see the coaches.
We had a blast with them last year, so we'll figure that out, how we get Nicolay on the schedule.
Again, they wouldn't let us leave.
No, and we went out for dinner afterwards and drinks, and it was a great time.
They wouldn't let us leave.
It was a lot of fun.
We're talking Tuesday night. It's 8:30. We're like, hey, guys, we got to no, come on, let's stick around. It's like, guys, we got to go. They're great. We have to go down there again.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to work that in. I just don't have it teed up yet. But if you've watched tonight and again, your school is not listed, just shoot me a DM on Twitter or Instagram, or send me an email, info@productionsw7.com. We'll be happy to take a look at it and see if we can work something out to make sure that we get your school. I don't want any of the girls disappointed if they didn't see their school on here. So let us know, and we'll move some things around and see what we can make happen. Coach, parting shots?
You know, I am the voice of GTV, and I'm excited to get to be around those kids again. You mentioned Taylor Wilson. We've already talked about our favorite player on from W7 and Sarah Nassif, but
yeah,
you know, I want to see the development of Nicole Ramstack as she's the lead pitcher as a senior, and you know, Maddie Balsinger, you know, the sophomore, her first at bat last year, she hit a home run. It's been, you know, I hate to say it, you can only go down after that, but
right.
She's a special talent. We anticipate her sliding into shortstop. So just watch that team and the improvement, and to see which players improved over the offseason is something, you know, as I've watched them for a couple of years now, to watch them now up close, it's exciting.
Well, Pookie's going to be coming back. He's a senior this year, so Hallie Bowles back on that team.
You're not supposed to call her that.
Oh, she loves being called Pookie. So we'll see Pookie this year. And, you know, some changes on that team for sure. Obviously, the coaching changes we talked about, but, you know, you lost a lot of seniors. I mean, the Hessler girls are gone. Of course, Jalen Acker gone. Lo Hillman is that's a lot to replace.
That alone is a lot to replace. You're right.
So it'll be interesting to see what that team looks like. We're looking forward to seeing all the teams. I'll tell you, if you watch Thursday night, our live show Thursday night, 8 to 11, we're going to dig more into softball, as we've got kind of 3 hours to just talk about a lot of things. We'll kind of take a look at the first week of softball so far and just kind of give you some thoughts on what we see this season as we move ahead. We're going to be following softball all season, all the way up through the state tournament. We'll be at the state tournament, and I believe it's back at Goodman. Is that right, Coach? At UW Madison.
Yep.
So back at Goodman Field, UW Madison, we'll be there for that. Looking forward to seeing you there for that for the state tournament. But again, watch for us all season long. We're so thrilled softball's back. We're so anxious to see the girls. Tuesday night, our season opener, 4:30. Germantown hosting Brookfield Central. And Coach, I don't know if you picked up on this. It's the same season opener as we had last year, except last year we were at Brookfield Central.
It is. You're right. You're exactly right.
So this year it's at G-Town. We'll be there Tuesday. Have a great rest of your weekend. What's left of it, 9 o'clock on Sunday. So get some rest, ladies. We'll see you this week. You've been watching W7 live coverage, and we have been live, of our 2022 softball schedule reveal, and it's been brought to you by who else? The one, the only, Jolly Good Soda. Until Tuesday, for Ed Rowie, for Connor Du Bois, I'm Gary Whipperman. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and everything we do, it's always for the girls.
For the girls.
You got it. Oh, we got a late message from Pete Buwala just came in. FYI, Jory also plays softball. I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know she was a player also. Okay, so we can't get her on the headset because she'll be actually playing in the game. So maybe Maya Moldenauer will come join us. Anyway, we'll talk to you this week. We'll see you Tuesday night from Germantown. Have a great rest of your weekend.
W7's got it right. Covering girls' high school sports all the time. 100% free, 100% live. W7 for the